The commentators said it was a historical fact that the 96-year-old monarch was a colonizer, which was another form of slavery. She posted to her 154,000 followers, "It's historical fact that the Queen is a colonizer. You boast the British Empire realm of colonies all in the name of its monarch but denies she's a colonizer. Colonization was another form of slavery. Fact she decolonized they cry." Which came first, the chicken or the egg? It comes just days after Australian Senator Lydia Thorpe branded the Queen a colonizer as she took her oath of office. The Indigenous parliamentarian from the Greens walked towards Parliament's upper house with her right fist raised above her head in a Black Power salute. Did the world sort out the slave issue over 200 years ago? The U.S. had a civil war over it and we abolished it. So why do whites have to be constantly vilified by blacks seeking sanctuary in a white country because their own countries are poor, corrupt, and offer no opportunities? She then declared she would bear true allegiance to the colonizing Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Reacting to her statement, Senate President Sue Lines told Thorpe that she was required to recite the affirmation as it is printed. After a pause, Thorpe recited the affirmation correctly. She later tweeted, "Sovereignty never ceded." This obnoxious female should be prevented from spouting her bile. Her hatred of what we, as British, nay, English subjects of Her Majesty revere as head of state, is absolutely disgusting, and certainly, she has no place being anywhere in this sceptred isle. Had a white person uttered such rubbish about, say, Nelson Mandela, they would immediately attract the attention of the forces of law and order. It seems only white people can be racist. Dr. Shola has long made her negative feelings towards the royal family clear. Just recently, Dr. Shola erupted in fury when the Queen was compared to Nelson Mandela. Alan Titchmarsh paid tribute to the monarch during her Platinum Jubilee celebrations, saying, "She has enormous quiet charisma as Nelson Mandela did." Criticizing the TV Gardener's comments, Dr. Shola called the tribute an outright insult to the late South African anti-apartheid leader. She wrote on Twitter, comparing the Queen to Nelson Mandela is not only obtuse but an outright insult. Mandela sacrificed his life liberty for his people, oppressed by the white supremacy British monarchy upholds. The Queen could not walk in Mandela's shadow. I would guess that 99% of your readers disagree fundamentally with this hate-filled commentators. Stop giving her access to your pages. Those who have an interest in reading her opinions can follow her on her website, Twitter or whatever. Spare us this rubbish. Typical ignorant divisive race-baiter. If she doesn't like the UK, doesn't like its institutions, then get out, find somewhere else to live. Sick of these ignorant fools, stop giving them the stage. Her Gracious Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II has allowed loud-mouthed, self-serving ingrates like vile Shola Shola to live in her realm, free from oppression and censorship, with free healthcare and social benefits, and in return loud-mouthed Shola rants and raves using twisted historical facts to make her ludicrous unsubstantiated barbs sound more relevant. Well, Shola Shola, if you don't like our monarchy, why don't you go and live in some other country? There are hundreds of countries without monarchs to choose from. I doubt very much if anyone in the UK will miss you and your big mouth. We are never going to find a middle ground if people like Shola are stuck in the past. We can all go on about the plights of our ancestors when the poor far outweighed the well-off in the 1800s. My grandmother's sisters were all put into service as housemaids for rich families early 1900s, one of whom was treated appallingly and died at the age of 14. But that was back then. Who do I shout at for that? No one. It's in the past, and I and my family and have moved on. I have friends of all shapes and sizes and different colors, and I worry about the conversation this woman continues to have. Dr. Shola is a dictator and someone who is a danger to the youth of this country, both black and white. Shola is stirring up trouble, and for what reason? The past is the past, we do remember, we learn, and we move on. We cannot punish today's population of this planet for the deeds of the past. There should not be any wars, no poor people, free health care for everyone. There should not be people who have so much money that they couldn't spend it if they tried when people are starving to death. We need world unity, and because of people like Dr. Shola, it's just not happening. This Nigerian woman Dr. Shola urgently needs to return to her own home country of Nigeria and civilize her fellow Nigerians. Beatings, stonings, and burning to death, a young female student for voicing her opinion, is not acceptable in this 21st century. What are her reasons for ignoring the savage lifestyle that still exists in her own people, while she and her family continue to live freely, safely, comfortably in London, England, and at the same time, biting the very hand that feeds them? As an Aboriginal woman, my mum is from the Gomeroi tribe. Firstly, the word historical means it was before the Queen's time. I do not hold people responsible for the sins of their fathers, or in this sense her great-great-great-great-grandfather. Second, I am sick of white people talking for us, the Senate. Thirdly, the Queen was the one who stopped Aboriginal segregation, the stolen generation here, after a referendum in 1967 where Australians voted for the Queen's Commonwealth to take over Aboriginal affairs from the Australian state governments. Fourthly, Dr. Shola, you have no right to comment as you have on this, as you are not Aboriginal or even Australian and clearly know nothing. Sorry, I know I already commented this, but I want people to read what an actual Aboriginal woman has to say. British Empire stopped the following: eating of your neighbors in Nigeria and Zimbabwe, put paid to Shaka Zulu's Mfecane, the enslavement and murder of up to 1 million Africans, the murderous Ashanti regime, who painted their huts with the blood of slain Africans, while their children played ball with their heads. Abolished slavery before most African nations, rid India of the huge, attempted to end the live immolation of widows on pyres for dead husbands, attempted to end the caste system, and created India's first orphanages funded and staffed by Victorian missionaries. Stopped the Mahdi and his dream of a Muslim empire from Sudan to the Black Sea, attempted the end of foot binding, and child slavery in China. Yes, I know about opium. This woman attempts to paint a picture of Africa that was peaceful. Another one who can separate historical truth from their muddled fiction. Perhaps she should go back to school and pay attention this time. Another one with a 56-pound chip on her shoulder. Why does she just leaves our island and stops giving us constant earache? She also cannot own slavery. If she cared to go back through history, she would see that white people were enslaved too. Her diatribes are full of emotional inaccuracies geared towards perceived discrimination. In the 80s I would have said she has a point. Now, it is more likely to be white females being discriminated against. Cup of Karen, anyone? She wouldn't recognize a fact if it bit her on the bum. The members of the Commonwealth are not colonies as she puts it. Plus all the nations in the Commonwealth choose to remain there. Nobody is forcing them, they like it there and remain. Look at the Commonwealth Games, happy people belonging to a group they want to be a member of. Shola acts like a racist trying to stir up division where none exists. Vile woman.